Hello and welcome to Queendom TV. Today we're going to be talking about the toxic behavior of some mixers, and we're continuing in our Jesy Nelson videos. So if you want to see some of the other videos or you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the Jesy Nelson playlist and check it out now, guys, because we're exposing a lot of stuff and talking about a lot of things that I feel like need to be spoken about. If this is your first time watching my channel, welcome. Please subscribe if you enjoy it. Shout out to my old subscribers. Shout out to my day ones. Shout out to the baddies. I love you all. And without further ado, let's jump right into this topic. So this video is inspired by two of you guys who sent me an email. You each sent me emails discussing things to do with Jesy, and you guys have sent me so many great things. It's so helpful. I literally follow along all the different links you guys send me to, the videos, the photos you send, the receipts, the screenshots, the articles. It's amazing. So thank you all so much for all of that. Today, we're going to be discussing the behavior of some of the mixers. Now, before I get to this topic, I want to ask a question, to some mixers out there. I want to ask this question that one of you guys said in one of the emails, and I'm going to read exactly what it said. You said, my question to the mixers really is, did you always hate how Jesy looked, sounded, sang, danced, etc. in the group, or are you just doing it because it's a trend? I thought this was a fantastic question, because to me, I hadn't even thought about the fact that, and like I said in the beginning, we're not talking about all mixers, we're talking about some mixers. And the reason why I'm specifically talking about mixers and not baddies is because I've had a fantastic experience with the baddie community. You guys are the ones who have been sharing my videos. You guys are the ones who discovered my videos. You guys are the ones who are sending me all this stuff. You guys have been so kind and so loving, and I'm so grateful. I love you all. I'm appreciative of all of you guys. So seeing the way you guys have been versus seeing what I've seen from some of the mixers, I'm seeing a very clear distinction here between these two different groups. And of course, some of you factor into the mixers as well. And I'll say it again, just in case anybody missed me saying this, I'm not talking about all mixers. There have been some lovely mixers I've come across as well. Unfortunately, the majority that I have experienced, and that doesn't mean it's the majority of the group itself, has been negative, toxic, hateful, whichever word you want to use. So I want to talk about this because even before I got this question, which we're going to delve into a little bit more, you guys have been pointing out to me, how haters have not just been going for Jesy, but have been going for other girl groups. Obviously there was this whole thing at the Brits and Wolf Alice receiving the award that a lot of people felt Little Mix should have received, which I think not just the hateful or toxic mixer community felt that way. A lot of other mixers or even baddies felt that, even if it was for Jesy, which is understandable. I don't necessarily see an issue with you being disappointed that the person you thought should have won or you wanted to win didn't win. Don't see an issue with that. What I see an issue with is the hate. As I always say, the issue is when it turns from just disappointment. Because, we should all have good sportsmanship, as it were. We should all be good losers. And I'm not saying that the girls are losers per se, because, somebody had to win. It wasn't them this year. Okay, But I'm just saying that when you haven't won something, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to, behave gracefully about it. That definitely makes you look better, because the first thing that people are going to say, especially to some of you, honestly, how I felt with some of you toxic mixers, like when I saw some of you guys' behavior and you didn't win, it kind of made me feel the same way that I felt about how some people were being horrible, when English were having the World Cup final, and people were being really horrible. And it's like, you're not really making yourself look like the group of people that people are going to now feel sorry for. Like a lot less people probably want to be understanding to your perspective if you're going to be horrible, right? So like I said, nothing wrong with wanting the person you support to win. Nothing wrong with being disappointed with that. Where we have an issue is where people are being hateful and dragging people. And that's what happened with Wolf Alice. I've discovered also Blackpink have experienced hate as a result of some toxic mixers. Also, the Spice Girls. So basically just other girl groups. And it's kind of crazy to me that in and of itself, because those groups are all different to Little Mix, right? They're all different, right? So it's like different people appreciate different things, different types of group, different types of music, etc. And we should all be happy for each other, because again, going down the road of female empowerment, if we're going to talk about female empowerment, it's good for us. I think it's always good to support other females who are doing well, because they're, even if it's not you, it's representing you. You know, it's representing your group. It's helping push forward the movement, if you will, right? And again, I'm targeting this at people who are being hateful. If you're disappointed the person you want didn't win, we've all been there. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So this dragging and stuff, it's very like, it's almost like, I feel like the toxic mixes have become like a hate train that just goes wherever. I don't know who's leading the hate train. I don't know where this starts. The one thing I did notice that one of you guys pointed out, which is particularly worrying, because I'd said, is that you, well, say what you guys pointed out first. You pointed out that the remaining 3 members of Little Mix, some of them are following some of these very known to be toxic pages of mixers, right? Fan pages, which is concerning, because I was asking previously, why are we not seeing those guys speaking against the hatred that some of their fans are saying? And obviously one of you guys pointed out as well, and you say how you got like how they like to say they've got the nicest group of fans. They're not, a lot of the fans are not very nice. In fact, all of the mixer fans are the ones who are being so hateful, even to me, who's like just giving another perspective. And even in the beginning, when I mentioned all of this, I was very clear that I was just giving another perspective. So much so that people try to criticize me, saying I didn't know anything, which is why I had to come back and be like, look, I was just trying to be honest that I haven't been following closely everything that's been going on. But even though I'm honest about that, you're still trying to attack me, you know? So again, just the fact that they behave this way and that the other girls aren't doing something about it bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot, because it's like the toxic mixer community is like growing and they're continuing doing whatever they're doing. And on the other hand, one of you guys was telling me that like 200 Jesy fan pages have taken themselves down because of the amount of hate that they've been receiving. But then you guys have been such a lovely group of people. So it's really bothering me that this is what's going on out there. And so I'm kind of like, what do you guys got to say for yourselves? I really am disappointed in the other girls, you know, from Little Mix, that they're not speaking up against the fans being hateful and making more of an effort. Because honestly, I don't want anybody sharing hate on my behalf. I'll tell you that much. I certainly don't want anybody sharing hate on my behalf, because that's not what I want out there. I don't want to be affecting people's mental health negatively. I don't want to be sending out negative vibes. Okay? And you can defend somebody without doing any of that. That's the thing. If you're going to be mature about it. But let's address this question. Great question from one of you guys. My question to the mixers is did you always hate how Jesy looked, sounded, sang, danced, etc. in the group, or are you just doing it because it's a trend? If you are a mixer watching this and you now are being hateful towards Jesy, I would like to see an answer to this question. And I think a lot of us would like to see an answer to this question. So feel free to answer that in the comment section down below. I would really like to see the answer to that. Because this, when I read this, made so much sense. Because I kind of was saying the similar thing to I didn't quite get there. But when I read this, it's like, yeah, this is true. Because you would have been supporting this person for the last 9.5, 10 years, right? Prior to her leaving. Because you're a mixer. Little Mix had 4 members all along. It's not like they've even changed their name, right? So at what point did your hatred for Jesy start? Like, was it just bubbling up all this time, and you've been waiting a whole decade for her to leave? Have you just flipped the script now? And again, how she looked, sounded, sang, danced, etc. Where was it? Because if it was really that you really felt this way all along, how come you guys weren't using your hate train to say that you wanted her out sooner? Some of you, you know? And I agree with this question about, are you just doing it because it's a trend? I feel like that's a lot of it. I personally feel like because on social media, because on the internet, and I can say this because I'm somebody who puts my face to the camera and posts videos and says things with my whole chest, right? A lot of people say a lot of stuff because no one can track what they're doing. And this was even spoken about in one of the documentaries I watched with Jesy. You know, how a lot of people will say stuff because you can't track it. You don't know who's saying it. You can't stop it, right? She was speaking to the parents of a girl that took her life, and they were talking about how they tried to contact Facebook, but Facebook had no number. The police couldn't get a hold of Facebook. There was nothing they can do, right? Because people on social media, on the internet, it's like, I remember when I was at school, it used to be like frowned upon to be a keyboard warrior. Like, it used to be frowned upon for you to be the one who'd be sending abuse online and not be prepared to do that in person. But so many people are doing that now. You know, so many people are saying stuff, and I see it a lot of the time. Like, sometimes when I'm looking, especially on Instagram pages that are not my page, if I see hate in comments, I love to actually just go and look at the person commenting. And as many people have said, and I'm going to say again, they're the exact people with no picture, with no posts. And I feel like sometimes, right? Sometimes some of these mixer pages try to hide behind the fact that they are just a fan page so no one can see your face, right? Now you can be hateful. And that is very disrespectful. I find that disrespectful. The reason why I feel like I show my face when I say stuff is part of me holding myself accountable to what I'm saying. It's part of me saying that if I'm going to say something against somebody, which I've already said I'm not saying for the purposes of hate, right? Then at least let me put my face there so no one can say that I'm just talking and I'm just writing comments somewhere and I'm just sending hate and no one knows who I am, you know? And I think that's what's happening a lot within the toxic mixer community. So I want to know from you guys, is this just a trend? Because when you're just a face that no one knows, that no one can see, it's very easy for you to put your face out there, your words out there, right? And spread hate and spread whatever and jump on a trend because nobody knows who you are. And so I would ask at this point, if you're going to try and leave hate under this video or under other people's videos, show your face. Show us who you are. Because I'm showing you who I am. I'm putting myself out there on purpose, because if I'm going to say something, I'm not just going to be a coward and not show myself who I am. And I'm not saying that if you don't put your face out there, you're a coward, because it's not everybody's job to do that. Well, because I've decided I want to have this channel and I want to speak out about stuff, right? And I want to allow other people who want to speak out to have somebody to speak on their behalf, who's willing to put their face out there, then you do the same. But the thing is, a lot of this hate that I'm seeing, I'm not seeing people's faces. The only face I have to say that I saw, which I just remembered now, is the Honest Vocal Coach. My goodness, one of you guys sent me that video and she's criticizing Jesy's singing. She's like, well, that's what she should have been doing. Let's backtrack. She is called the Honest Vocal Coach. Honest Vocal Coach. She even was commenting on more than just Jesy's, singing. Because there was a point where she stopped it and she was literally just commenting on the way that she was acting and how she was trying hard not to laugh or something like that. It was basically she was getting cringed out by it or something, which I didn't like again, because you know what I felt like in that moment? It's what I feel like when I hear a lot of this hate from a lot of people towards Jesy, which is you're just jealous that you can't pull off what she can pull off. Because to be honest with you, the way that she is, the vibe that she gives off, the fashion that she has, the voice that she has, it's very unique. It's very unique, and not everybody could pull it off, because it's one of those things that you'd have to have confidence. The way her look and her voice and everything, you have to have confidence to pull that off, or to even sell it well, right? Which to her for that, as far as I'm concerned, right? But when people don't get that, they're just hateful, and that's what I feel like is the core is what's really bothering a lot of mixers now as well, is that like she's gone into being unique. Because one thing that I know about people, and I've learned, is that people are threatened by people who are happy being themselves and being unique. Because as was said in this question, are you just following a trend? What's part of a trend? Part of a trend is fitting into something, you know, that there's a bunch of people in. That's not being unique, right? And there are trends, you know, which are good trends, and I'm not saying it's bad to follow a trend, right? But that some trends are bad to follow though. And I think we can all agree that if certain things were a trend, they would be bad trends to follow. What I'm saying is, I feel like sometimes people do that because they have a collective. I feel like the more of the trend that's there really is just the hate trend. The trend of just being like, let's just be hateful towards somebody that's living their life doing what they gotta do. She's feeling happy now. She's gone back to the way she was, because a lot of people criticize her for the way that she dresses, and like a lot of the mixes as well, like the way she dresses and the way that she does this, she sings and that. I'm like, why do you need to criticize that? In this day and age where everybody dresses differently. Like, people dress differently. Everybody has their own fashion style, you know? And some people, they won't even class their fashion style as a fashion style. They just throw clothes on or whatever, you know? It's normal. So why does it bother you so much if somebody wants to dress in a certain way? If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you don't like it, don't comment. If you don't like it, click off the video. Like, even on my video, when I was getting all these comments from some toxic mixers on my previous videos, it was really funny to me, because I was like, wow, you're really helping my channel right now by like putting, this is the funny thing. And it's like haters don't learn this stuff. Like, haters don't learn that the more you're watching and you're commenting, other than the fact that you're hurting people's feelings, which is a pretty massive deal, which is why you need to stop, you're actually adding more traction to that person. You're giving them more attention. You're helping them grow. Which, to me, the fact that you deep down know that this is what you're doing, to me, is like, you have you not realized, do you not see that that's an issue? Like, why are you so obsessed? That's how I feel like right now. And a lot of these people who are so obsessed with talking negatively about Jesy, I'm like, why are you so obsessed with talking negatively about her? You know? And where was that before? And I know some people were hateful before, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that wasn't the case. And if you're a true mixer, right, that band was built with the 4 girls. Let's be honest. That girl group was built with the 4 girls. That's how they were for the majority. It was only 2020 that she left in December. So let's backtrack with that, because for you to have so much venom towards Jesy, that means did you have that venom that whole time? What did you do when it was her verse coming up? Did you just block your ears? What did you do when it was her face in the video? Do you see what I mean? It doesn't really make any sense. So I don't know. I just wanted to touch on this subject just to say that if you're going to be leaving hate around there, first of all, just remember that this is a serious mental health issue. If you want to be kind, you want to do whatever, start with just being kind to the very people, the very person, right, who even was a key member, a quarter of the group that you are now defending. Let's start there. Right? And then let's continue on to the people that support that person, and to the people that support who you were probably in the same group with before all of this. And let's remember that if not for all this animosity, we may never have had to have all these distinctions of like mixers and baddies and this and that, which I think is good in a way, because I'm glad that Jesy has her own specific fan base, and I think it could have still been existing that way, even in a healthy way. You know, just the people that just want to specifically be a fan of Jesy. But now it's become this messy thing, and I don't believe that it's because of Jesy or her fans at all. Because from what I've experienced, as I've said, Jessy's fans are lovely. They're lovely. Really lovely. And they're a group of people who've experienced a lot of what she has, and have persevered. And shout out to you guys. Honestly, I have so much respect for you guys for having gone through everything. The more stories you guys tell me of things that you've experienced, your friends have experienced, and all of that stuff, the more I'm like, oh my goodness, how have these people been doing this all this time, you know, by themselves, and how much of a toll it must take on you guys. And I'm honestly praying for you guys. I really am. Like, I don't say that just to say it, because I genuinely feel for you guys who are going through this, you know. And to the toxic mixers specifically, who want to try and say, oh well, we've gone through stuff, we've gone through this, yada yada yada. How about you deal with the people in your own camp first? Deal with the people in your own camp. And if you weren't so hateful in this direction, I'll be feeling sorry for you guys as well. But when I'm seeing so much hateful activity, when I'm seeing people going out of their way to come all the way onto my channel to spread hate, I'm like, and I'm supposed to feel bad for you when you're calling me. Somebody said on my video, you're too pretty to be dumb. What? Doesn't make any sense to me, guys. Really doesn't. Really, really doesn't. And I want answers to that question that I said. I want actual answers so that we can know how this all makes sense. Because I just feel like I don't know if it's people are going where the wind blows. I don't know what it is, but it's just absolutely crazy to me that somebody could have given 10 years of their career in a group that you're saying you still support, in a group that existed with that person in it, and I was even looking at how much Jesy's vocals are really there, and she was a proper part of that group. Like, it's not like she was just a side part. She was a proper member of Little Mix. So explain to me how now we just have all that hate. I would love to know. I would love to. And for those of you who have experienced hate, just know you don't need to respond to anybody. You don't. Trust me, because you know what, guys, I've realized sometimes when you try to talk to people who are not trying to be mature, you just find yourself getting irritated and them always feeling like they're right anyway. I had to do this in one of my previous videos. I was talking to somebody and I tried to just have a back and forth. That's how I ended up making my video about the mixes coming for me, because I realized the more I was talking to this person, the more they were just talking and just talking and just talking and just talking and trying to still just get onto me. They weren't listening. They weren't bringing anything to the table that I could actually be like, oh, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. You know? And so I said, you know what am I going to do? I'm going to ignore them, but I wasn't happy just ignoring them. I wanted to do something about it, and therefore I made a video which benefited those of us who can have mature adult conversations over here. So I say the same to you guys, that if you're being bothered by stuff like that, right, you don't have to respond. You really don't. I'm only responding because I've chosen that this is a battle I want to take on. That's me. That's my decision. So you can even live through me if you want to. You know, or send me your concerns via email and stuff like I've said, but don't feel like you have to respond, and especially don't try your best not to let it get to you. And I pray in the name of Jesus it won't get to you, genuinely, because we already seen what happened to Jesy, you know, with everything that everybody was saying getting to her, you know, and her hearing what people have said. And I know we need to just get to a point where people stop saying stuff like this online. But while we don't, guys, what we can all do together, for those of us over here, is we can all support each other, and we can all remind each other that that's all nonsense. We don't need to listen to anything those people are saying. You don't need to listen to them. Trust me, if they're spending their time being hateful, right, that says way more about them than it does about you. And remember that they don't know you in the same way that they don't know Jesy, right? So I hope that you guys, those of you mixers and baddies who are, you know, positive and, you know, positive and lovely and supportive, I hope you guys can feel better. I hope you guys don't feel the need to clap back to those of the toxic mixers out there, to the toxic behaviors, dragging other girl groups and stuff. It's not making you guys look good. It's not making Little Mix look good at all. And I'm starting to wonder if some of this behavior is why now Little Mix is you know, people are saying that they were becoming less popular after Boys and everything and all these scandals, because I think people was, the way the situation went down, this is the other thing, like, you might feel like you're looking good, saying what you're saying, doing what you're doing, but people who are watching are paying attention and they're thinking, if this is what that fan base is like, I don't want anything to do with those people. That's how it is. So you're, if anything, being hateful is actually working against the very people you're trying to support, which is why I don't understand why the remaining girls haven't said more, but that's not my place to comment. So I don't know. If I were you, if you want to continue spreading hate, if you want to continue, and if you are going to complain, if you are going to say something to somebody, say something of substance, say something that we can actually look and go, oh, I never thought of it from that perspective. Somebody actually said something like that to me in the comment section. I was like, you know what? I didn't think about it from that perspective. Like, I'll give you an example. Somebody said, maybe the girls were cutting Jesy out because they didn't want Jesy to sue them because she was no longer part of the group. Which I thought, you know what, that's a fair claim. It's a very fair claim, something to suggest that maybe they were cutting Jesy out because she was no part of the group, no longer part of the group. Maybe Jesy requested that. Maybe it was because they didn't want to include her, for her then to be upset about it, you know. And there has been examples in the past of where Jesy has said she doesn't want herself to be included in pictures just because she didn't think she looked good. So that was a fair point to bring up, and I said to the person, I appreciate that and I understand that, and that's fair. And that's actually one of the reasons why I haven't talked a lot about her being cut out of stuff, because I thought, you know, that's understandable. You see where we can get when we can just be mature and we can just say what we got to say respectfully without being hateful, right? Anyways, if you guys enjoyed my video, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, as well, and check out the Jesy Nelson playlist if you want to see the other videos. Don't forget to check out all the information in the description box if you want to, like, send me an email, you want to do whatever. There's a whole bunch of info in there if you want to support this. Also, my other information to all my other stuff that you guys can support if you would like to. Other than that, I love you all. God bless you, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.